watching bruceseesall.
Hi, and welcome to the bruceseesall Research Channel. My name is Bruce Swartz. I'm from Montreal, Quebec. It's going to be 9th year starting now in August that I've been doing this research, so 8 years almost completed, thanks to the amazing community here. That's why I was able to continue on. Some news coming out from the Vatican, not necessarily news coming out from the Vatican, but what people are finding out about the Vatican. You've all heard of the Vatican archives. I want to talk about Vatican City and the relationship of the Vatican City with UFOs. Well, for those that don't know it, Vatican City, there are a group of scientists and researchers. That's right. Hard to believe that there are scientists and researchers on an island where they're supposedly just praying, but they're not just praying. A group of scientists and researchers are seeking access to the Vatican Apostolic Archives to uncover information about UFOs and the paranormal, believing there may be traces amid the 50 miles of shelving down there in the archive area, region, the basement, holding everything from handwritten papal notes to presidential missives. In 2023, following former U.S. intelligence official David Grush's congressional testimony alleging the Vatican's involvement in an international cover-up of alien secrets. Think of it, an international cover-up. I believe it. The Vatican is definitely covering all this up. David Grush claimed Pope Pius XII back-channeled information to the United States about a crashed UFO recovered by a fascist dictator, Benito Mussolini. I don't know where Grush got this information, Marco Grilli says. Secretary to the prefect of the archives told Catholic News Service June 11th. Grilli said the archives had received emails inquiring about the veracity of Grush's claims, but likened them to requests to read the personal letters of Pontius Pilate or the Virgin Mary. Yeah, one can laugh at it, he said. However, findings like those reported in Diana Walsh's Pasulka's 2019 book, American Cosmic, suggest to UFO believers that the archives hold more than meets the eye. She said a religious studies professor at the University of North Carolina said archives are full of reports about paranormal events such as nuns witnessing orbs entering their cells, flying houses, and other aerial phenomena. She argues that these events might be better understood as UFO-type occurrences rather than miracles as Catholics traditionally understand them. So the historical record is filled with these kind of events, but the problem is, they say, the people at the Vatican, they don't even know where to look, first of all, in all this large basement with all the shelving. Think of it. The Vatican's archivists are in a mad rush to digitize what they have, and I would say to get rid of the truth, probably, most likely, without a doubt. They have to prioritize, they say, what they think is most important, she explained. They aren't really prioritizing orbs that are bothering nuns in the 1800s. So there's lots in the archives, in the basement, that we want as information. There's lots there about the UFOs. They're going to hide it. They're not going to bring it out. And obviously we don't have access to it. Not many people do. It's very, very secretive and being watched all the time. The interest in the Vatican's holdings extends beyond the realm of scholars and religion, though. Scientists like Gary Nolan, that I've mentioned several times here on my own channel, a professor of medicine at Stanford University, views the Vatican archives as a potential treasure trove for understanding UFOs. The Vatican is probably the oldest library system of paranormal or supernatural knowledge, says Nolan. The archive has an aura of both mysticism and a feeling of deep truth that if you just know how to read it, you can pull that information out. Nolan, Gary, believes that if an advanced species is showing up on Earth, it means it might be possible for humans to survive threats like climate change, the energy crisis, and even war. The very fact that we think we see something, Gary says, to him is hope. Nolan said of UFO sightings, it says something has made it past the cliff, past the decision point that we feel we were on the edge of right now. Nolan co-founded the Science Foundation, in 2023, SCI Foundation, to spearhead scientific research into UFOs, now called UAPs, or unidentified anomalous phenomena, to initiate dialogue with religious institutions like the Vatican about the spiritual implications of discovering alien life. The foundation is confident that at least some UFOs are genuine vehicles of non-human origin. Consequently, one of its primary objectives has been made to initiate an interfaith dialogue to access the potential impact on world religions. Ladies and gentlemen, what we are witnessing here is the deep state slowly being dismantled. That's how I see it. We have the UFO caucus that was formed. Some of you are familiar with Tim Burchett, congressman, representative from the state of Tennessee. You have Paulina Luna, right? Luna. When I heard Luna, I said, imagine if they exposed the moon. I can't believe for the first time they're actually talking about, that Harvard study. And it's further than the Harvard study. Now everyone is talking about it. Headlines everywhere. There could be a possible base on the moon. Aliens could be inside of the moon. They could be going to and from Earth. I've been saying this in my research and showing it. So for me, there's something incredible happening. This is really an opening, more than a crack, but an opening of the door. For the first time, the public is hearing the word UFO and moon together. I've been waiting for it for 8 years, almost 9 years, and never do they associate the UFO phenomena around Earth with the UFOs on the moon. But you know what? It's happening. So Gary Nolan is more important than we think. He talked about UFOs. He has high knowledge of it and skilled of doing so. So he's the one that's in the Vatican. I see him as an angel. Hopefully he's going to do what he says he's going to do, is get into the archives to expose it, because it's, like he said, there is a treasure trove of UFO information in that archive. I'm also pretty sure of another thing, that they set back the date to go to the moon for Artemis program and projects because of this UFO situation. Interest among non-Catholic researchers in uncovering paranormal secrets in the Vatican has spanned decades and has roots in culturally influential retreat center in California. Father Francis Tizo, an expert in interreligious dialogue, said he discussed a plan to conduct paranormal research in the Vatican archives with the founder of the Esalen Institute, and that was, guys, over 20 years ago. It's not, just now that we're trying to enter the archives and, dismantle the deep state. I keep saying that because I know that's what's being done. So Esalen is a retreat center. This is in California. It's known for its progressive countercultural influence, in particularly during the 1960s and 70s. So it continues to play a significant cultural role in the States. It attracts Silicon Valley technologists, spiritual leaders, innovators, to explore new ideas of psychology, spirituality, and personal growth. Father Tizo said that Michael Murphy, Esalen's co-founder from the Institute, told him that someone should go to the Vatican archives, do research, examine the documentation, and try to classify it in ways that would be accessible to the scientific community. I'm liking this. I'm liking hearing this. And Gary Nolan has a lot to do with this, so good for him. I hope he's pushing hard. Studying miracles attributed to the intercession of saints as possible paranormal activity, Father Tizo said, could help build another bridge in the direction of paranormal phenomena connected with the ideal of the UFO narrative, that somehow we human beings are in some way in contact with other civilizations, other conscious beings in the universe. Now, I want to say something. 2 streams ago, last month, I said that it's going to come out in a big way in the public and everyone's going to hear about it, that they're going to combine, I got chills because I called it, they're going to combine ufology, paranormal researching, religion and religious institutions. All the different fields become one field of research with a whole bunch of different branches into that field. I see it happening, and we're literally hearing it happen right now. Jeffrey Kripal, a member of the board at Esalen and professor of religion at Rice University in Houston, he said the stories of Catholic miracles are of interest to UFO researchers because telepathic communication, levitation, and other paranormal events often coincide with close encounters. The whole gamut of religious phenomena appears in the abduction or the encounter experience, Kripal said. Carlos Ayer, a professor of history at Yale University, has studied the types of miracles that captivate researchers like Basuka and Nolan that we talked about at the beginning of this podcast. He published his findings in 2023 book, They Flew, A History of the Impossible. If ever you guys, for reference, want to look it up yourselves. Levitations, UFOs, miracles, all on the spectrum of, let's call it, the impossible, right? Things that are considered impossible or highly unlikely, he said. The Vatican Archives has a high value of paranormal researchers, he said, especially because since the Renaissance, the Church has applied more rigor to alleged miracles by requiring witnesses to swear oaths, yeah, right, that they are not lying. Like, that's really going to change anything. Much like the oath that the president takes or any ruler of a country. Oh, I promise not to fuck over the people. But they still do, don't they? While the staff of the Vatican Archives acknowledge that their vast shelves contain accounts of miracles, they deny that any of their holdings pertain to aliens. It's a cover-up. I definitely believe it, guys. The prefect wants to affirm that there is no document in the archives that regards extraterrestrial life. They're being audited. The Vatican's being audited. That's sort of really cool. Or they more are like trying to audit them. And scholars seeking such material at the Vatican should be dissuaded from undertaking futile and unproductive attempts in this apostolic archive, Grilly said. So now we have a problem because, like the CIA did, hiding 20,000 documents and destroying them, what do you think they're going to do at the Vatican? They're most likely going to do the same thing. So they do take part, Vatican City, scientists and researchers there, in hiding and holding truth from the public. So the archives, think of it, miles and miles of shelving. Imagine all that we could find there. Imagine everything that happened to humanity that they would have documented. And listen, that's aside from everything that they would have gotten rid of. Imagine over the years, every 100 years or so, they get rid of something and they delete something. And you know why they do this, eh? They hide truth, any truth that's going to take down their monetary system or take down their own associations. Like, for example, talking about UFOs and bringing that to the table is going to change religion. But they should be happy about that because I believe, call me crazy, guys, I believe UFOs should be integrated in everyone's religion. And now I'm repeating what I've been saying since 2017. It came to me fast enough that if this truth is being hidden and or was taken out of religion itself, it should be investigated and in a real way, not like a fake election. No bullshit like that. People should really get the chance to form a real committee, okay? Not just these bum committees that are continually taking taxpayers' dollars to fund their own private projects and to enrich themselves. It's not for the people. The governments were made by the people a long time ago, right? Now it's sort of the other way around. So yes, they're talking about the dismantling of the three-letter associations. They're losing their funding, right, to do their secret projects. So they say in the Congress, bipartisan bill, and the Senate passed the UFO Information Act, the UFO caucus that was formed. We can't say that nothing's happening. A lot of people are still completely in denial, saying they just don't tell us anything. Well, stop it, because now we can't say that we don't know anything anymore. Extraterrestrials have been declared to be real, okay? It's just the retrieval program that they're trying to hold back. And how do you think they're holding that back? Well, they're paying. You're going to say, well, who's paying? Everyone that's corrupt. You have like a bushel of apples. Usually there's one rotten that rots the other ones, and that's what's happening. So now there's almost not that many apples that are still good and or edible. You get it? Like completely corrupt all the governments around the world. But I'm telling you, all these wars that we're seeing, I'm telling you, it has a lot to do with the UFO secret. The UFO secret is a major secret. All funding would stop if that truth came out. And what truth am I talking about? I'm talking about beings, alien or human or whatever, being on the moon. And aside from that, my research is showing the atmosphere, the creatures there, possible creatures, visual proof that we have. So imagine that's not even integrated inside of the UFO reports. The moon has never been mentioned in the UFO reports. Well, I got chills because I believe the next UFO reports coming out, no matter what the country, whether it be at the end of the summer or at the beginning of fall, like the report coming out in Canada, they are going to talk about aliens on the moon. So let's all be very vigilant and let's just watch in the news who dares touch on the subject of the Harvard study, which again, never mind Harvard study, right? The information that came from the Harvard study, though, that I'm interested in. That's what's interesting me. I don't care where or who presents any information. We should look at all information uniquely, the data and information. So if it comes out in China, if it comes out here, let's just look at the data. Sure, you can keep it in the back of your mind. It comes out at a certain corrupt area. But if the information could be real, do your own research. I look at all information, no matter where it comes from, no matter what media it comes from. Don't you worry. Like you, I know which is right, which is left, because we're putting terms to everything. I know what's right and what's wrong. That's for sure. Get it? Right and wrong, because there's only two sides. Choose the right side.